guys, we're back.
Us again. So it's still day 8 right now, but we're going to tell you about day 7, which was the day after Christmas.
We woke up around 3 in the morning, and since Chrissy had packed the car the night before, it only took us about an hour to get out the door. We had said goodbye to Brad and Caitlin the night before, so we all piled in the car, me, Chrissy, and the dog, and it had been snowing all night, so there was like 3 inches of snow on the ground.
It's beautiful.
It was really beautiful. It was a little dicey there getting out of the neighborhood and getting on the highway because people just drive like crazy.
Crazy.
They're crazy people.
The roads hadn't been plowed yet because it was still kind of snowing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kat navigated us back to the main highway expertly. She was great, even with all the dirt and sludge being kicked up by the, trucks around us and everything, like weird road closures and signs that popped up too late, and
we had a minivan pass us. Minivan, like a soccer mom.
She did great. I felt very safe. And then
we at one point we pulled over to stop in this little convenience store.
I remember.
This is a woman with her blinkers on, and we both took the same exit into the convenience store.
She was so obnoxious.
With all the weird snack foods and stuff.
Is that it?
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She was. Yeah.
She had her blinkers on, like people
Her
don't know.
four-ways, yeah. Where everyone on the highway is doing like 35, 40 miles an hour because it's treacherous, and she's the only asshole with there's 24 other cars. She's the only one with her 4-ways on, and she's right in front of us, and she's like, slowing down,
a Durango.
Up. Yeah, she's a 4-wheel drive vehicle. And then we were making fun of her, and then she pulled off into the same gas station right below me too.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
It's like, well, she's an idiot. Let's not look her in the eye. So that was interesting. So then I promptly fell asleep. I was exhausted. I could not keep my eyes open. And Kat made it pretty much all the way to the Grand. Yeah, you got us all the way to the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
She woke me up when we were going through the gates. It was like a 6-7 hour drive from Caitlin's house through Utah to the Grand Canyon. Oh, she woke me up. He woke me up a few times to look at the scenery because it changes so drastically as you drive south through Utah and into Arizona, and every new geographical, site is just stunning to behold. Like everything.
At one point, though, I woke her up. She was so tired that I woke her up, and she woke up and she was like,
like, what?
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you
I don't care.
sleep now.
Yeah.
No, she growled at me. It was a growl. I don't think she remembers, but it was definitely like that low guttural, primal, like, don't wake me up again.
What do you think that? Sorry, hold on. What do you think that is in the distance? Is that a city or is that some kind of rock formation? Do you see the gray spires? That's rocks, right?
I think that's rocks.
That's so cool. There's such cool stuff out here. There's amazing things to see. We're way behind our schedule. We wanted to we changed our minds. Originally we were going to try to be home for New Year's Day, but now we'd like to be home for New Year's Eve so that we can each smooch our respective boyfriends at midnight. They're waiting so patiently and supportively for us. Thank you guys. So yes, it's a race against time. There's a lot to see, and we've got like 3 days left, I think. But that's okay. So we made it to the Grand Canyon yesterday.
We did, and of course it's my first time seeing it, and it was amazing. It's hard to put into words because you see pictures of it and they tell you they can see it from like outer space, and it doesn't really register until you're there and you're standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon, and it's difficult to fathom like how far across it is and how deep it is until you're there. So if you haven't had a chance to go visit it, I would strongly suggest it because it really just reminds you how small you are in the world and how many just really great big wonders there are to see. So but I digress. We got there, we both had to pee, and of course there's a million other people there because it's the day after Christmas, and everybody wants to see the Grand Canyon. So after that whole big speech about go see it, anyway, so we both had to pee. So we walked along this little trail and kind of away from the viewing area and away from the road, and I let Chrissy go first,
so she could keep a lookout.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we have to look out for all these cactuses. Like, I was trying to steer the dog around them when we walked him, and I was like, oh man, if he fell on one of these, it would hurt. They're all over the ground, and they blend in with the soil and the other plants.
You don't
really
see them
hard to see
until you're right on them. So this one disappears behind a bush, and I'm keeping a lookout, and all of a sudden I hear, ow! She sat on a cactus. Oh my god. I thought I was done laughing about this, you guys.
Bare
I've been
ass
laughing
on
about
a cactus
this for days now.
It hurt
Bare ass
a
on a
lot,
cactus.
and
She sat on a
still,
cactus.
and my pride wouldn't let me like jump up because we were right near like the road, so I knew if I stood up, like my lily white ass would be visible to all like the tour buses going by full of Asian people. So I stayed down and just sort of moved over, and thank God there weren't more cacti underneath me because I would have gotten a vag full of them.
Oh god.
Jesus Christ.
That would not have been funny.
Oh my God.
But right in the
It
tush.
hurts so bad, right in the tush. It feels like a bee sting times like 11. It hurts. It still hurts. It's tender.
We decided that her new Native American name is going to be Sits on a Prick.
She would not stop laughing for hours. She was texting everybody.
I could not stop laughing.
You probably already know the story because she probably texted you.
It was so funny. Oh my gosh. As soon as I heard that, ow, I just immediately, I knew. I just knew that she'd sat on a cactus, and I just started laughing, and I had to pee. And she's like sitting over there, and I'm dying laughing, cracking up. And I'm like, did you just sit on a cactus? Yes. It's so funny. So yeah, laughed about that for quite a while. I think
All day.
I'm just about done laughing about it. Like it's almost not funny anymore. I mean, it's still pretty funny, but you had to be there because it was just hysterical. So yeah. Anyway, we relieved ourselves. And then we walked a little bit around the edge of the canyon, and we took some really great photos. And we stayed for maybe a little bit longer than we should have, but it's, kind of one of the wonders of the world for me anyway.
Yeah, we
far.
doubled a bit. We got some cool pictures though.
We did.
I like the panorama of you with we got Cat twice in a pano
Yeah.
shot, once on either end.
Did the
Pretty
pano
funny.
trick.
We learned about ravens. We thought these giant
did.
blackbirds were crows, and then we learned that they're actually ravens, and they're really smart.
Really smart, and they can fly upside down.
There's no gas station here. We're gonna keep going.
Okay. They lied.
They lied. We're good.
It's just a death trap.
Ooh, we should be good. So we left the Grand Canyon, and then it was another 2.5 hours to Sedona.
Yeah.
Sedona, Arizona, which is this town based on the tourism of like the energy and like the crystals, and it's a very hippy dippy like meditation and mud
Retreat.
massage retreat town, but it's built in the red rocks of Arizona, and it's absolutely stunning.
I say you go around this guy.
Go
I
ahead
don't know
and
what
go
this
around
guy's
this
doing, but
He
just doesn't know what he's doing either.
So they say that God created the Grand Canyon, but he lives in Sedona. And you can see why. I mean, the Grand Canyon's stunning, but I'm glad that Kat got to see them Grand Canyon first and then Sedona, because when I first saw them, it was the other way around. So when I saw Sedona, I was just blown away. It was just life-changing. That's how beautiful it is. And then I went to the Grand Canyon after that, and I was like, meh. So I'm glad she got to see them in the right order. But we raced to Sedona because we had dawdled so long at the Grand Canyon that we didn't realize that the drive to Sedona was going to get us there right at sunset. And the whole point of Sedona is the beautiful red rock formations. And if you're not there in the daylight, you can't see them. But it's supposed to be beautiful at sunset. So we're like, all right, if we don't stop at all, we can make it there by sunset. We were on track. We were doing great. And then
racing the sun.
The road through the mountains is a bunch of hairpin turns. It's like 15 miles an hour here, 25 miles an hour there. You're going up, you're going down.
The dog is retching in the back.
The dog was so unhappy.
Poor Drogo.
But I'm racing. I'm like, if the speed limit's 25, we're doing 30.
He's panting back there now.
This is his I hate you guys face.
Pretty much.
He keeps willingly getting back in the car, though. Every
It's
time
amazing.
I open the hatchback, he's like, yep, let's do this. And then he sits in the car and he's like, I hate my life, I hate my life. Whatever. So we're going through all these twisty turns trying to make it into the town of Sedona, which is at the top of, a hill in the mountains. for sunset, and I come around the very last bend, and I had to slam on the brakes because there's bumper-to-bumper traffic, just like hundreds of cars all lined up.
The dog goes flying, I go
The
flying.
dog pretty much ended up like in the glove box. Like it was bad.
It's bad.
I'm like, sorry! So we sat in traffic, and by the time we finally made it up to the crest where all the beautiful stuff is to see, the sun had set, it was dark. But the city's still decorated for Christmas, so there's beautiful lights everywhere, and it's a gorgeous, like, very bougie, like, rich people's, like, getaway spa town, right? So everything's stunning.
She purposely just used that word bougie because I hadn't heard it before this
How
trip.
do you not know the word bougie?
I didn't know the word bougie. I'd never heard it before.
Can everyone please tell her that bougie is a very common word?
I've never heard it
Slang
before.
term.
Never, ever, ever.
Whatever. Anyway, it's the perfect description of this town. It's very like a hotel, like a cheap motel room in this town was like $300 a night.
I grew up with the word affluent. not
Okay.
bougie.
Well, affluent is also a very good word, but this, whatever. We can argue about it off camera. Anyway, it's a fucking bougie town. And it's based on tourism, right? It's based on like hippies coming up there to like align their chakras, and they say that there's like 4 energy vortexes, vortices around the town where you can go to be like recharged and rejuvenated with like the energy from the earth's core, and it's just like it's a lot of weed and a lot of chai tea and a lot of
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm fresh out of mushrooms, so.
yeah. I wish we had some. I'm sure everyone in town had some in their pockets.
Yeah.
So we were kind of disappointed that, you know, we didn't get to see it in the light, but we made a quick split-second decision to stay the night there, and then go see it at sunrise. Go see all the mesas and stuff at sunrise. So that's what we did. We stopped at a restaurant.
Yep.
And had actual hot food,
And pizza and beer.
and it was at a.
But it wasn't just pizza and beer. It was like artisan flatbread and like craft beer.
Yeah, of course, because it's Sedona. And then and they had like a heated outdoor patio where not only was Drogo allowed, but he was like welcome with open arms. The waitress brought him his own doggy dish full of water, and everyone doted on him, and it was so nice to be out of the car and have a nice hot meal.
Afterwards, we walked around. We saw some of the little shops, and we walked in these shops, and they're full of crystals and very breakable things. And Chrissy's walking in there with her giant,
I bring Drogo everywhere.
clumsy mastiff, and he's like so precariously close to just knocking everything over.
He was like
And-
drinking from the little tiny like Buddha ornate Buddha fountains on the lower shelves. They're all running and they've got like crystals in them and stuff. And he's like, when I drink from them, I'm like, no.
And the
no,
shop
stop it.
owners were so cool with it.
They loved
were
him.
fine. They were like, "Oh my gosh, can we pet him? He's fine in here." Like,
It's a hippy dippy town.
yeah.
I love
So
it. I love it there. I do. I'm making fun of it, but I love it. I love Sedona.
it was really beautiful.
You can see why people go there for the energy, because it really is just, I mean, even if you don't believe in any of that stuff, it's just a recharge. Like Kat was saying, it sort of puts you in your place. Like, it's beautiful. And they've built a really, really nice town around it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had our food, and then we found a nice secluded parking garage, and we we walked around, we window shopped. Yeah, we went into one fossil and gemstone store that was just closing up, and Kat found this little fossil of fish, like native fish that lived in the area, like
Nydia?
yeah.
I don't know.
that lived in like the riverbeds like 50 million years ago.
Yeah.
And she bought it for me, so she's slowly building up my cabinet of curiosities for me.
She has a bat in plastic now.
Yep, a live, like not live, but you know, a real bat
Yep.
captured in like plexiglass, and then the mosquito, the 65 million year old mosquito in amber,
Yep.
which I love, and the fossil, and I have a rattlesnake spine that my ex Eric gave me, which is pretty cool, and some other odds and ends that will go in there.
In the store, they had a $25,000
It was like dinosaur tail,
tail.
the
yeah.
whole tail, all the vertebrae.
It was amazing. And
I was like, can we haggle?
I think it's in Chrissy's credit limit.
Yeah,
I think it's a little
bit
above.
beyond.
Yeah. What is it at now? What is it at now? Like $35?
What's that worth?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nothing.
Shut up. Anyway, so Kat bought me the little fossil, which was really nice of her, and it was fun to go window shop and see all the different sparkly, pretty things. And then we went and found the secluded parking garage and bedded down for the night. We're getting really good at turning this car into a really comfy bed.
For sure.
We got 9 hours of sleep in the car. It was the most cozy I think we've been since we were actually in a bed at Caitlin's, you know. It's the coziest sleep we've gotten in the car thus far.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of us.
Me too.
It was good. And then I had set an alarm for like 6:30. So I woke up and, repacked the car, put everything to rights, and then drove us up to the airport mesa, which is like one of the, they say it's the easiest viewing point for sunrise. Yeah. I thought we would just drive up there and park the car and watch the sunrise through the windshield, but no, like I'm looking at it on Google Maps and it's like a little hiking trail, and I'm like, oh, well, that looks simple. It's like a loop, airport loop or something around the top of the airfield, the top of this giant mesa.
Not airport, lose all the air in your lungs and pass out and die.
It's 45,000 feet up there. We walked, I'll have to check my pedometer, we walked quite a ways.
Yeah.
And it kept taking us like further downhill, and I'm like, no, we parked at the top of a hill so that we could see everything. Like I wanted to see the sunrise over here, and then I wanted to see it reflected on the red rocks over there. So I wanted like if not a 360 degree view, at least like a 180. And as we're walking down, like it's getting more and more like scraggly bushes and trees and stuff, and I'm like, we're not gonna be able to see anything. And then we come out into this clearing, and there's this huge mesa in the middle of nowhere. It's like a big table made of rock, right? And there's like a path that goes up it, and you have to be a goddamn mountain goat to get to the top of this thing.
But I wanted to go to the top.
There was a lookout area at the bottom too that we could have just, Kat was like, oh, the geriatric ward. I'm like, yeah, I'll stay here. Asshole. She's like, no, let's go to the top, let's go to the top. So we went up there.
We came all the way here not to just stand and,
at the bottom of the mesa.
At the bottom of the mesa. I wanted to go to the top.
Which I'm glad we did. We were there with like 30 Asian tourists.
Oh my gosh, so many.
So many people, and it was freezing up there. I had not prepared for it to be so cold, so I was shivering.
It's like a theme on this trip. Chrissy just not being prepared for
I don't want it to
temperatures.
be cold, so I don't dress as though it is. I'm hoping I can will the weather into being
that
nicer.
That makes it better.
I don't know. I'll work on it.
But yeah, so we got to see the sun come up. That's the beginning of day 8. That's the beginning of today.
Oh yeah. So I guess this is day 7 and 8 video. Sorry, I got carried away.
Me too.
Yeah, Drogo came up there with us. He was like a mountain goat. He was amazing. I was even more proud of him on the way down because I thought for sure we're gonna have to lower him down on a rope.
I thought he was gonna go ass over tea kettle because it's so top heavy, and now he's going
so
downhill.
And it was so steep. Like the trail, like the path is like,
it's hard for us.
Yeah.
But
he was fine. He was like leaping and jumping and having a grand old time all the way back to the car. I was so proud of him. We were dying. We were because the air is so thin at the higher elevations. We're not
really
used to
not
it.
fit at all.
Out of shape. Bad.
Really bad.
It was so worth it though. The whole thing was worth it. Like we got back to the car, we ate the rest of the groceries. Like there's not a stitch of food left in this car.
I made a triple decker sandwich because we only had three things of bread, and we made some Nutella yogurt, but the Nutella was frozen and the yogurt was not. So it took like 20 minutes to stir in the Nutella.
I fed the dog, I gave him water, we repacked the car, we shook out all the blankets, like we reorganized everything. I feel good. Like I feel we're like good to go. And then we did a quick loop of Sedona, like the inner sort of loop of Sedona to see more of the rock formations after the sun had risen, and they glow in that early morning sun.
It's beautiful.
It's unlike any. It's just
they look like red gold in the sun.
They glow. It's beautiful. So we got to drive around like this quick loop and see that and take some more photos. And that was the start of our day. Then we stopped and got some coffee.
Yep.
And now we are currently on Route 66.
Yay! I'm super excited. I've always wanted to see Route 66. And I gotta say, right now, pretty uneventful.
It's the
lots
desert.
of wide open plains and like the desert. But
it's desert. This is desert.
But yeah, either way, I'm super excited to be on Route 66. I've always wanted to see it.
It's not actually like Route 66 anymore. They sort of made it defunct and tore it down, so they made it, well, people are gonna know.
Yeah.
There is no Route 66, it's Route 40 now. And you can drive along like old stretches of Route 66, like you can get off of Route 40 and drive along Route 66, but for the most part, Route 40 is 66. And all the landmarks and cool things that used to exist that were the big draw for the beat, the beat generation, those things are still here, but they're all defunct and torn down and grown over with weeds and stuff, which just makes them even cooler and more creepy to see. So it's still a huge draw for people to come and get photos with all the weird shit on this road. So we're headed into Albuquerque, and then from there probably to Dallas, and then from Dallas to New Orleans.
And we're going to go through Winslow, Arizona.
Yeah, we're coming up on Winslow in just a minute. We'll stop there real quick and
Such
get a
a
picture.
fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me.
We're going to stop there
Yeah, we are.
and do that whole
Yep.
thing. Real quick though.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel good. I feel refreshed. I've had coffee. The car's packed. Like I feel good.
Yeah.
We're gonna race home and only stop and see the things that we absolutely need to stop and see.
You know, a nice, relaxing drive home.
Yeah.
But no, super excited to see the rest of it, and we'll make sure to stay up to date on our videos from now on. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys later after we have a little bit more adventure.
Bye.